Slice-of-life drama/romance anime set in high school are generally structured around the typical school year of a Japanese high school. The first third of the show is usually dedicated to introducing all of the most important characters and developing their relationships. This is also when the premise or gimmick of the show is established. Generally around episode 4 or 5, the emotional arcs begin, and the characters begin to develop and change. This is usually achieved by way of a few set template story arcs: the overnight trip, the beach trip, the school festival, and of course, the Christmas episode. Prime possible events for the Christmas episode include dates, romantic bonding situations, confessions, confession attempts, and rejections. When the prime appeal of your show is the anticipation of the will they won't they, an episode that holds the possibility of containing all of these events is extremely important, as it will determine the course of the dramatic narrative and most likely the plot of the next couple of episodes. Now in the West, while it certainly isn't unheard of to hear people claim the contrary, Christmas isn't really regarded as a romantic holiday. Rather, it's considered more of a family holiday. It's a time when people get off from work to go home and when families gather around and just spend time with each other. It's also considered by a large amount of people, at least in the United States, to be a religious holiday. Christmas in Japan is a little different. Japan is kind of in an interesting position when it comes to Christmas. Christmas has only become a big deal there in the past few decades, yet it is much bigger there than in other East Asian countries like China. Only about 1% of the Japanese population is Christian, so Christmas is celebrated almost entirely as a commercial affair. Unlike in South Korea, Christmas is not a national holiday. It just so happens that the emperor's birthday, which is a national holiday, happens to fall on the 23rd of December, so a lot of schools end up closed on Christmas Day anyways. What this generally means is that most businesses remain open, as opposed to how in the West, Christmas is viewed as a time that families stay home to bond together. Another important distinction between Japanese Christmas and Western Christmas is the romantic connotation of the holiday. In fact, Christmas in Japan is more akin to Valentine's Day in the US. Major emphasis is placed on Christmas Eve, as it is seen as extremely important that one does not spend it alone. Even songs broadcasted around this time of year, like Last Christmas by Wham! And Christmas Eve by Tatsuro Yamashita, focus on the aspects of Christmas that relate to loneliness and heartbreak. Christmas is positioned perfectly in the Japanese school year to serve as the backdrop of a major arc or event of the late second or early third act. This means that in addition to being inherently romantically charged, the fact that the characters of these shows should already be well fleshed out individuals adds to the dramatic stakes of the episode. Being made with Japanese audiences in mind, anime can take advantage of the fact that Christmas already carries the connotation of being a romantic holiday. These episodes often contain highly emotionally evocative imagery such as hazy lights, gentle snow, and foggy breath. Such imagery evokes a sense of dreaminess and romanticism, a sense similar to that of infatuation, and is extremely fitting for the presentation of a romantic scene. After all, the sensation of love is often described as dreamlike, with extremely emotionally charged experiences pertaining to romance having an ethereal quality to them and the memories that recount them. It is the perfect vehicle to draw these viewers into a more emotionally vulnerable state, and thus cause the contents of the show to have a deeper impact on them. Even in the West, the way that these episodes are constructed is able to convey this appeal to emotion in a way that we can also sort of kind of get it. It is by evoking this romantic atmosphere that the audience is already predisposed to buying into that allows the show to run wild with the romantic plot progression during these times. This especially holds true for shows set in high school, for the setting of Christmas is also able to diegetically raise the emotional vulnerability of these shows' characters as well. This gives authors excuses to make characters do things that they wouldn't usually do, for many people in real life, especially in Japan, are already inclined to have at least thought of doing something similar. Better yet, since the audience has already been emotionally manipulated into a more emotionally vulnerable and romantic mindset, the viewer would already have been set in the same mind space as those characters. This would make every bit of emotional progress resonate many times more than if it had simply occurred on some random day after school. To put it bluntly, the next time you watch a romance anime and the Christmas episode happens and you start to feel the aromantic void of loneliness creep up on you, it's because you're being emotionally manipulated. Every aspect of that Christmas episode has been tailored to make you feel as jealous and lonely as possible. Thus, you can rest easy with the knowledge that you're not actually lonely, you're just the victim of a perfectly designed emotional trap that exploits the fact that you are human to get you to buy Blu-rays. Probably. Hey, did you know that I have a Twitter? You probably didn't, and you should probably go and follow me there. If you want, I'm not forcing you to or anything. It's just up to you. I don't really care if you do it. But, thanks for watching the video, and I really appreciate the continued support of this channel, and I hope that you have a nice day.